extended race in particular that just ended up with the entire crowd screaming Behemoth. That was nice. Also, big shoutouts to Oats for playing with J-Text. I have to say it. It's tradition at this point.
And how much time does that save, Punk?
Absolutely nothing, but it's the correct way to play the game.
Oh darn! Giving up your 36 seconds. Okay.
Yeah. But we are off on Sarah's station here. Just a casual start into this run, enjoying the romantic atmosphere of some dead scientists laying around and a baby Metroid lava just innocently standing there at the end of a corridor.
And keeping in mind that we might have some people a little newer to this game, it is possible to kill Ridley here with 100 shots. Nobody does that because it would take forever. Instead, what you're going to see is the runners will damage themselves down because once they get into about 29 energy, then the beeping will start and Ridley will fly away and the door will open.
You can actually die here, but that's extremely hard. Unless you really try, you cannot die here, so you really just want to damage yourself down as quick as possible.
Yes, but you can die in the escape here if you were to wait too long.
That is true, but since we're going fast, in fact, as fast as humanly possible, that won't happen. I mean, maybe there's some gentleman's agreement going on in the background that they wait out for the last second, but I really don't expect that.
No, that would be a very unusual meme.
Yeah. Alright, let's see. What times do we get here? We got a 45.95 and a 46 flat.
Nice.
Really, really good times.
And here we go to the real part of the run.
Well, we cannot promise a world record, but what we can promise is that these runners will go all out. They know what they're up against, who they're up against, and they're not gonna hold back in any way in this.
No, absolutely. All the safeties are off now. Almost in sync as the ships land.
Alright, so right from the start, we're gonna see some moonfalls here. Probably one of the most recent discoveries, even though it's already pretty old. Using the moonwalk to perform a backward spin jump here, which removes the falling speed cap, saving a lot of time in long vertical shafts like these. As you can see, falling down there with a lot of speed saves a few frames in a few instances, like the party here. Really good moonfalls here from both runners already. And going down the elevator in sync.
And still in sync as they pick up the morph ball.
One thing you'll notice the runners do a lot is jump down these little platforms here as they're falling down. You might be thinking that loses you a little bit of time because you jump, gain height, and thus need longer to fall down. But the thing is, spin jumping actually has a higher fall speed acceleration, so by doing these tiny spin jumps off of ledges, you actually save a little bit of time every time you do that, saving multiple seconds over the course of the run. Put on your 3D glasses.
Oh, it's taking a bit of a lead as they're going up the elevator.
Yeah. And we're actually going to see the first big deviation in terms of tricks here. As they're going to go up the climb, we're going to have Oatsngoats with a traditional right side wall jump climb, which is the fastest way to do this room. Whereas Behemoth is going to do the Behemoth or Just Defend climb, which involves a sequence of ledge grabs up the platform, which is slightly slower, but still really, really fast if done optimally.
And I'd like to point out, the Behemoth, he doesn't have... Most people that do the ledge grab climb, they do it with the angle down button. Behemoth does not map the angle down button. He uses it for speed booster and running speed. So for him, it's a little bit different than the rest of us that use that particular climb.
Yeah, Behemoth, if he wants to use angle down, actually has to use angle down on the D-pad, which is obviously significantly more difficult than just pressing a single button. But Behemoth being a master at his job, obviously no problem with that. Both with really good bomb times, 4:43 and 4:44, is close to as low as it can possibly get, really.
Okay, looks like I have that a little bit backwards. The Behemoth actually has item select mapped to the L button. Either way, he still doesn't have that ability to use the angle down button to ledge grab, so he still has to use the D-pad, making it that much more impressive when he does that ledge grab climb.
Got a really good one-round BT fights from both of these runners here. Behemoth is one missile down, but that's not really a big issue here because it's really easy to just get one extra missile drop here in the Terminator room. You can see that really nice strat picking up the first drop from the Gima on the mushroom there.
So now we're going to see one difference between the old route and the new route. So previously we saw old route and a hybrid route in the third place match. These guys are going to be doing new route for sure. You'll notice they're missiling those space pirates in order to conserve their energy, as they're going to go into Fantoon with just one E-tank and no suits. A very dangerous fight, so you want to have as much energy going in there as you can get. And both going into what I call the most important mock ball of the game, the one that allows us to skip Spore Spawn and get those early supers.
Really, really important sequence break. Probably the first speedrunning trick you learn when you pick up this game. Again, some pretty good sync. Not going to be expecting too much deviation, more like a kind of slight back and forth for some frames. Really nice Keigo mockball there. You notice the runners jump through the door there and then mockballed into the little enemy by Keigoing right as they contact with the enemy. That saves a few frames just by correcting the door transition. What I mean by correcting the door transition is that sometimes you see, when runners move through a door, that the game always tries to center the door before it actually allows you to load the next room. And sometimes that can take a very, very long time, so by moving Samus in a position in a specific way that the camera is already in center as they enter the door, they can save a few frames or even seconds here and there just by correcting these doors throughout the run.
And both runners, of course, picking up their charge beam. That's what allows them to pick up almost no ammo. So at the end, we're going to see either a 20-10-5 ammo or a 15-10-5. It'll be interesting to see if either one of these runners takes the risk of going with only 15 missiles instead of 20.
Yeah, 15 and 10 is the optimum you would go for in any percent run. Really risky for races because you have a high tendency to soft lock at Mother Brain. It's really interesting to see how close ammo comes to low percent in this game when it comes to ammo. Oatsngoats here having a slight problem getting up Red Tower, losing some time there, making up a good backup no. Now coming up from Powerbox. And then already moving on to their first boss, Fantoon.
About 2/3 of an item fanfare apart. So this next little bit is going to be really important as they cross the moat. They'll be performing at first. They're going to try for what's called a CWJ, the continuous wall jump that'll allow them to clip off the corner of the missiles platform on the moat. And if that doesn't work out for them, they'll go for the backup of the horizontal bomb jump. Let's see what they get when they get there.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Behemoth hasn't even been going for the CWJ for the longest time. For a very, very long time, he's just been going for the DBJ, not risking falling into the water there in the back. Both of them missing the frame perfect jump at the start, which is required to get the CWJ, so they just went for the DVJ back up and both getting it first try. Really, really nice. Those bombs, the placement might look really easy to get that diagonal bomb jump off, but it actually requires a lot of very precise D-pad movement along with the already precise bombs, so this is a really hard trick to get down. So really nice that you both got it so cleanly. Alright, and now we're coming up on one of the biggest RNG parts of the run. Fantoon has 3 different pattern speeds for each round: fast, slow, and mid. Deviating about 7 seconds, about like 5 to 7 seconds, I think. I think the difference between a slow and a fast is exactly 11 seconds. So both runners are going to opt for a 2-round missile Doppler, so a fast versus a slow can make up a huge time difference here.
Let's hope they get similar RNG here.
Yeah. Both not getting it fast. Yeah, looks
Also,
like we got a slow start for both.
Also, because they don't have the wave beam here, they can't use the X Factor strats that you might have seen in the previous race. Pretty much the only fast way to do it at this point is to use those Dopplers.
Very interesting. Both you getting the same pattern, however, Oatsngoats choosing a different approach here. Starting the first round Doppler from the left side, from the right side, which is certainly more tricky, but also a little bit faster. And Oatsngoats actually getting the 2-round, whereas Behemoth was slightly off on the Doppler, shooting the super, probably 1 missile too early, enraging Fantoon, and now having to wait out the entire enrage phase as well as another pattern, giving Oatsngoats a significant early game lead here.
That enrage fame is super dangerous. The nice thing is, because they have charge beam, he can use pseudo screws to avoid getting hit, and that's what he did. The bigger issue is that it's just a time sink. You just lose so much time with that enrage phase.
Yeah.
Most likely, just lose your count. You shoot that 1 super missile, 1 missile too early. Almost always what happens when you get that enrage.
Yeah, looks like Behemoth was about 2 missiles too early there, but at least he got it fast on the last round, so that's not too big of a deal. If it would have been another slow, that would have been probably a lot more devastating. But whereas this time save for Oats, or the time loss for Behemoth here, I guess, is pretty big at this part. There is still a lot more really dangerous parts coming up, especially the next segment here after Gravity Suit is really gonna make or break the run.
Fortunately, both runners have very good energy right now.
Yeah, a little bit more concerning is the power bomb count here at the moment. Behemoth unfortunately jumped right past a power bomb drop there in Fantoon's room. Gonna end up with 0 after the attic here, which is not really optimal, but he can make up for that.
So Oats entering the bowling room, he can each of those spikes is 60 damage. He can take 3 hits with the energy he has, which is good. Fortunately, he only gets 2 hits, so he manages to get through just fine.
Yeah, with some good D-boosts and some good arm pumping and some good well-timed jumps. Oats here showing that off really well, even getting the mock ball into the bowling hands. Really just a perfect room.
Behemoth also with enough RNG to take 3 hits if necessary, but I suspect he'll manage to do it with only 2. Here we go. 1. And no problem.
And Oatsngoats here, besides the fact that he only got a slow mid pattern here with an absolutely fantastic 13 mid gravity time. Really, really good. Behemoth gonna be at a low 14. Right, one of the sizes there dropping a power bomb for Oats.
Okay, so now both runners are going to head down to Norfair and do a little item pickup before heading down to Ridley.
We're taking a sizer hit there, getting a nice power bomb drop though. That one's definitely important. You want to use 2 power bombs here on the way out of high jump boots. One to open the glass tube, which Oatsngoats is going to do right after you get Spazer here, to guarantee a quicker entrance into Meridia after Crate is beaten, and one to make a faster entrance out of the high jump boots room.
And we do pick up Spazer in this route because it takes a lot more time to pick up Plasma Beam. Plasma Beam would only save time on Mother Brain because we won't have it for Ridley. So you pick up Spazer to have that higher beam combo for Ridley, and then have it better for Mother Brain as well. Picking up Spazer would not save enough time. Sorry, picking up Plasma Beam would not save enough time for Mother Brain that's worth the amount of time it takes to go and get it.
Yeah, the entire idea of this boss order is really basically minimalizing backtracking. And with Dragon being last, the benefits of Plasma Beam would be so low that it wouldn't be worth making that giant detour into Deep Meridia just to get that. Alright, we got Oats now going down. Gonna be getting his high jump boots here in a second.
Nice grab of that energy tank.
And Oats with the ultimate into the high jump boots.
And you'll notice he didn't shoot that door open. So because this is new route and they've already got power bombs, he's just going to use power bombs to kill that little Nova before he gets out, so that he doesn't have to wait for it to come around and to be able to shoot that door open. You'll notice in old route a lot of the time you'll shoot that door open before you leave, because otherwise you're gonna have to wait for that guy to come all the way back around.
Yeah. Plus in old route you also get the missile. Not gonna get the missile in new route. Just gonna loop around for the bottom, not worry about the extra item fanfare there at the top.
And Oates picking up his ice beam. The other important mock ball in this route, the one you don't see in old route because you have speed booster. Behemoth is about to do it right now. Allows him to get ice beam without getting the speed booster first.
Oatsngoats with the counterpart to that mock ball, the ice escape. That one's actually pretty precise, especially the way Oats did it, while freezing the little platforms on the fly, getting enough running speed to perform that mock ball to get under the gate. Really not easy to do.
Yeah, the one going in is pretty easy. The one going out is not. And Oats making some nice use of pseudo screw to get through the cathedral area.
Oh, Behemoth not opening the door there. Getting a nice backup on ice escape there.
But it still gets the mock ball out. That's why these guys are the two of the best in the world.
Yeah. So now for this part, ammo management is really important. Basically after picking up Speed Booster and Wave Beam, we're going to be rushing directly to Ridley with nothing more in the way other than some rooms. And Ridley with the current beams, we want to have as much ammo as possible for him, with supers being extremely efficient against Ridley. So at this point, we want to worry a little bit about our power bomb count and our super missile count. Gonna see how much Oats decides to farm here with his current ammunition. Also, really nice Bubble Mountain from Behemoth.
Love that Bubble Mountain.
Yeah,
so
kind
another thing you'll notice. Oatsngoats using the traditional arm pump to go just a little bit faster. Behemoth will typically use a mock ball down here to use that to get that faster speed. It's about the same as what he would get for his arm pumping, because again, he doesn't have that angle down button. So with just the angle up, he doesn't get quite as much advantage for the arm pumping, so he does the mock ball instead.
Yeah, with like really good optimal mashing arm pumping mashing is definitely faster. As soon as you get like a medium speed, it's the same speed. The reason why it's actually equal is because of the downward slopes, which speed up the just the mock ball speed. Also, really important here to point out, Oatsngoats getting the wave beam missiles going for 20 and 10 rather than 15 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
that is probably, I want to say, one of the biggest safeties that we're going to see here on this skill level. I'm really curious to see if Behemoth is going to take it, because Oatsngoats probably knows that he's ahead at this point, so he might have gotten it because of that. And I'm curious if Behemoth is going to make the same choice, but no, he decides to skip
skips
it. Yeah.
And the thing about that particular missile pack is it doesn't save you the full 7 seconds of item fanfare, because you have to do a little bit extra movement just to avoid it.
Plus, you're gonna lose some time on the Ridley fight just because you usually use all your missiles on the Ridley fight just for extra damage, which is, again, it's not a lot, but it's not the full length of the item fanfare, really. It definitely doesn't save as much time. Really important trick coming up for Oatsngoats here, the Lava Spark, optimal entrance into Lower Norfair, saving a lot of health over having to do a gravity jump here, especially without Various. Let's hope he can get this. Gets the spark, and beautifully done. Nice job. So the backup for this would be having to unequip Gravity Suit here, which would lose him a lot of health with only the Power Suit in the lava and the heat. Especially on 2 tanks, we'll probably end up with way below 100 health entering the Norfair here, but this is way more optimal. Let's see if Behemoth can also pull it off.
Got the spark too. Yeah. Got the boost. Nice.
Very nice. And Behemoth actually had to go for a way more difficult backup here. Usually you want to go for the crouch as you fall down the ledge, but because Behemoth did the crouch slightly early, he had to do an extra morph there to get into the Namihe Flame in time to get the spark off, but really good recovery here from Behemoth. And
very nice fast pillars from Oats.
Yeah, coming up on the worst room in the game, one of the more difficult rooms in New Route. Can't really allow to do too many mistakes here, but Oatsngoats gets up nicely.
And doing that nice little, one of my favorite little plays. It really isn't that difficult, but that little morph ball over that last space pirate just looks so cool.
Alright, let's see. Behemoth here. Looking good. Also getting up. Very nicely done.
Also point out that one little wall jump off to where the space pirate is, using the iframes to be able to make that wall jump.
Yeah, thankfully these pirates are vulnerable to power bombs, and while they're on their iframes of the power bomb explosion, you'll just be able to traverse through them. Now, if you look on Behemoth's screen, one thing you already saw on Oat's screen is that he does a little bit of short charge here to use the speed echoes to destroy 2 of these key hunters. That's nice for 2 reasons. One, they're not going to be in the way and you can collect their drops, and the other reason is that it actually massively decreases the amount of lag these 2 power bombs you have to lay at the bottom here are going to produce. So just a little bit of lag reduction there and just a really nice strat. Oatsngoats here.
Oh, misses that second space pirate. You can see a little bit of that glitch where you get the double sameness going.
Let's see, giving Behemoth a little bit of a chance to catch up some time. Also, the big problem here with missing these speed echoes here is that you have to use supers as a backup to kill these pirates here. And as we said, you want to have as much ammo as possible going into this fight. Oatsngoats only with 7 supers. Missing out on 1,800 potential damage over going in with full supers, which Behemoth has a really good shot at. So that's definitely a big time save. And Behemoth does get the super drops, so going in with full supers.
Yeah, you'll notice in Old Route you typically don't use any supers because that plasma beam allows you to only get 20 shots. To do this fight with just Charge Ice Wave Spazer is 60 shots. And so these guys are going to use their supers to supplement that charge beam. It also makes a difference because they're going to get more supers when they go through the crate fight. Mini crate's going to basically a free bunch of supers when they get back there, so they don't need to quite conserve them as much as you do in Old Route, where you need to save those supers for the Torian section of the run.
Yeah. You notice the runners kind of looping around Ridley here, jumping and breaking out a spin as Ridley is facing their back. They're doing that to force Ridley into the pogo pattern, which is really nice because on the very leftmost spot of that platform here, there's actually a complete safe spot that you can use where Ridley cannot harm you while he's facing left and pogoing like that.
And Oat's doing a very nice job manipulating him into that pogo several times.
Behemoth now using his supers, and we almost got an almost simultaneous death. Behemoth catching up a lot here in Lower Norfair and that Ridley fight with the supers. Really, really nicely done. And Oatsngoats getting health bombed here. Still getting the extra tank here.
Ah, interesting. I didn't expect that to happen.
So Oatsngoats here going on 2 safeties, not only going 20 and 10, over 15 and 10 for ammo, but also going for a potential 4-tank run, depending on how the bottoon drops are going to be. Usually what you can see is what people do is what Behemoth does here, just skipping the tank, and then getting the 3rd tank from bottoon. What Oatsngoats is going to go for here is either picking up a 4th tank after bottoon, if he doesn't have full energy from the bottoon drops, or he might just skip the bottoon E-tank altogether if the drops are good enough, but we're going to see that. It's definitely also a massive safety for Dragon and for Motherbrain, so we're going to see if that safety can pay off for him. It is a time loss though, so you can see Oatsngoats now definitely being behind Behemoth.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised he picked that up, because they were pretty much in sync as the Ridley fight ended.
Another thing I guess we
Definitely a time loss.
Another thing I guess we should mention in terms of safety is there's a really difficult room coming up on the very end of the Lone Norfolk escape here, the 3 Musketeers that Behemoth is just now entering. We got 3 of these red key hunters that deal 50 damage each. So Behemoth right now can take exactly 1 hit. If he takes more, he's dead. But he does a really beautiful
Nice
manip
job.
there. Not taking a single hit, awesome, done. Really nice job. That's way harder than it looks, dodging these.
I like to call that room the last middle finger. The game basically saying, "Not so fast, my friend. You still need to get through this to get out of here."
This is
a much better
extremely
enemy
hard.
count.
Yeah, but he also not needing it, both not taking a single hit there. Really, really well done. Don't want to see runs die in that room after going through all the other stuff in No Off here.
Exactly, and it does happen.
Really, props to Behemoth playing it so smooth during these conditions with the bare minimum. That's something that requires nerves for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Alright, and now we're gonna fight Ridley. As you've already
Great.
mentioned, sorry, yeah, Crate. Now we're gonna fight Crate, not gonna fight Ridley again. As we've already mentioned, there are a few advantages of beating Crate now over beating him earlier. Of course, obvious advantage is having Speed Booster now, so the Crate hallway is going to be a lot faster. Well, not a lot, but it's faster. And another big advantage is that after having to do Mini Crate twice, we're going to get 8 extra supers, plus the Crate Dogs. So we're going to be basically on full supers guaranteed entering Meridia, which is really, really good.
You know, let's see if Behemoth can get that quick kill.
I would be surprised if we would see a missed Crate quick kill after these Ridley fights.
No, let's not see a missed quick kill here.
Behemoth getting really lucky on Crate lag.
There it is.
Too.
I'm also going to point out, since we probably have a lot of people watching that don't normally watch, they have to pick up the Varia suit here. It would be a bit of a time save, I suppose, to not pick it up, but then you would lose time because you'd have to pick up 3 extra energy tanks. Gravity suit pretty much covers everything that Varia does, except one crucial part at the end of the game. When Mother Brain shoots that rainbow beam at you, it's going to do 600 damage instead of 300 damage without the Varia suit. So you would need, like I said, 3 extra E-tanks to make up for that. Picking up 3 extra E-tanks would be a much longer trip than to pick up the Varia suit. And no surprise, Behemoth walking right past the Crate E-tank.
Yeah, that would be really weird. Yeah.
That would really, actually, to be honest, it was really surprising that Oats picked up the extra tank he did. So,
well, it might pay off.
It might.
Dragon can be really, really brutal. Mother Brain, you may have almost no leeway. So yeah. Well, let's not jinx anything, but this is still Super Metroid. We're talking about 2 of the best runners in the world here. Everything can happen up until the very last second of this run.
Absolutely. In Super Metroid, anything can and will happen.
Oh yeah. Alright, now we're coming up on the first X-Factor boss tech of the run. There is an option to already use this X-Factor attack on Ridley, but both runners prefer to just use charge shots all the way, which is equally fast. So what the runners are going to do here is they're going to time this special beam attack called the X-Factor very precisely so that all 4 particles are going to connect as Baltoon spawns, and then hopefully just going to finish him off with supers for a clean 1 run, and Behemoth does a really nice job here. And even getting 2 super drops, having really good ammo here. That is really, really good. You rarely ever see a better super count leaving Baltoon here.
Behemoth picking up his last E-Tank. And you do need the 3 because, again, that Rainbow Beam is going to cost him 300 damage when it gets there. So you have to have 3 E-Tanks to survive.
And really nice 1 round by Oatsngoats too. He even got the most difficult pattern to get that 1 round in, but he managed it really nicely. Behemoth with the full halfie, getting all the way across Coliseum here.
And there we go.
Oatsngoats, in fact, skipping that Baltoon E-Tank.
Not a surprise.
Will have to be a little bit more careful than Behemoth, though, on this Dragon fight. Full halfie still draining a lot of energy, and Oatsngoats did not have full health as he got past that E-Tank. So he has just a slightly little bit health to work with here. And the way these runners are going to deal with Dragon is they're actually going to Shine Spark through Dragon and deal damage that way. However, that makes them really vulnerable for something that we call chain damage, as Dragon dies, inflicting per frame damage to the runners, which can be, those 30 health can be devastating. But Behemoth with a really nice 2 in blue, and getting the Spark Suit.
And gets the Spark Suit.
Alright.
Nicely done.
Alright, let's see.
You also notice, they also use some X Factors here. We haven't talked about this before, but the thing about the X Factor, and Oats getting grabbed.
And slapped too.
The thing about the X Factor is when those particles miss and they start flying around, then you can't shoot anything. But the nice thing about Dragon is you're using the speed booster to take her down, so not being able to shoot anything is not quite as big a deal.
And while Behemoth got basically a perfect fight here with perfect drops, Oatsngoats really not getting lucky here with this fight.
But he
eventually
does
manage to finish her off. Even gets the Spark Suit there. Took a lot longer though.
The other thing you'll notice is that
really good
these
super
runners,
drops too though. Sorry.
they don't pick up the space jump here, especially with the Spark Suit. At this point, there's no place that's going to help them out. The one place that might help them out is in the Coliseum area, but they'll take care of that with the Spark Suit. So no need to take the extra time of 2 door transitions and an item fanfare to pick up space jump. Okay, Behemoth's ammo looking pretty good as he heads towards Turian.
Yeah, just doing the classic 1 power bomb farm. 9 supers here with 100 energy. That's really good.
Oh, it's a little bit low on supers.
We're gonna see how much he's gonna decide to farm on the Meridia extrans. Definitely Behemoth in a really advantageous position right now, though.
I do like that big jump in Mount Everest to get back up.
Deciding to do 2 farms there. Not bad. Good health, decent power, decent supers. You can really work with 5 after that point.
And the super count is the one that's important because there is that missile refill if they absolutely need it. But once they go through the Metroid rooms, that's it. You're not picking up any more supers. What you have is what you got.
Thankfully, Oatsngoats actually has one super has supers of leeway because he picked up that extra missile pack,
Right.
and since 3 missiles can make up for 1 super, he is not as tight on ammo as Behemoth has. If Behemoth is on zeros, is not on full supers after the last Metroid room, he has to go back and refill outside of Turian. Or if he doesn't notice it, he'll just straight up soft lock and won't be able to finish the run.
Right.
That's how tight this ammo is.
Right, because Mother Brain 1 requires projectile ammos. You can't use a charge beam on Mother Brain 1. It's a total of 6 projectiles to break the glass, and then 3,000 damage with the rest of your ammo. And if you don't have enough to do that, you're done.
Alright. And we got Behemoth just entering the elevator as Oatsngoats is hitting G4. One minor thing you'll notice here, Behemoth pausing on the elevator as he re-equips his beams. That takes a little bit of time because the pause is actually cutting off a little bit of the scroll transition off the elevator. So pausing on the elevator downwards saves a little bit of time over just saving at any random point. And it looks like Behemoth is going to go for a grouping strat in room 1 here. Getting some really good drops. Supers, ammo perfect. I just want a little bit more health here, but getting awesome drops here. Let's just see how room 4 goes. Playing it safe there.
Yeah,
again, he has to have 10 supers at the end of this, yeah.
And he gets it.
Yeah. Very nice. Also really good Metroid rooms. Played a little bit safe, just because of the super count, but that's perfectly understandable. Let's see how Oatsngoats can handle this. Behemoth in the meanwhile setting up for the baby skip. For those of you who know the game, know that there's a little bit of a... Oh. Okay, Oats is fine. A little bit of a cutscene here where you re-encounter the baby Metroid. It's supposed to drain all your health, but just by doing very precise jumps in this kind of circular motion, you can avoid the baby Metroid altogether. And just skip that very long, tedious cutscene, as well as having to take the refill in the next room. But Behemoth managing it really nicely, even though the dirt was kind of in the way, they're having to do a little extra jumps. Oatsngoats looking really good on ammo, however, his health is not looking... Oh no, there we go. Perfect.
No, he's fine now. He's fine.
He's fine.
They're all fine.
Alright. Behemoth with the second last moonfall of the game now coming up on Mother Brain. Really nice down back Zep skip. Probably the hardest iteration of the Zep skip, but also the fastest one. Now you notice he'll freeze and destroy these Rinkas here, and you'll also notice that they don't respawn. And that is... Oh god. Oh god. There you go.
Yeah, you'll notice he took that a little bit slow to make sure none of those supers got sniped, because if any of those had gotten sniped, again, that's a soft lock and he's done. Yeah.
So, good call waiting there.
Meanwhile,
Oatsngoats, yeah. Really nice. Alright, and this is 60 charge shots. Again, he needs at least 301 health by the end of these 60 charge shots to survive the Rainbow Beam. There's a nice attack at the very end called Ketchup Beam that does 100 damage. There are onion rings during the fight all the time that can multi-hit you, that can easily wipe out these 56 energy Behemoth has extra right now. Then there are these beautiful bombs that you need to dodge. This fight is not easy. You can die here if you don't watch out.
Especially in the time it takes to shoot 60 shots instead of the 20 that you would have if it was plasma beam you were using.
Oatsngoats proving that he didn't need these 5 extra missiles, but still nice that he had them. So after 46 shots, the Ketchup Beam is gonna arrive. There we go.
There it is.
Mother Brain being so kind to announce it very nicely by pulling her hand back.
It is the most dangerous shot that she takes, but it is the most predictable.
Yeah. And again, one hit by this Ketchup Beam and the run is over for either of the runners. Oatsngoats now also in the middle of the Mother Brain 2 fight, and Behemoth is done with Mother Brain 2.
Nicely done.
And that's basically almost it. There is at least no more point in the run where Behemoth can die now. He can still lose some time on the escape, but to make up this much time for Oatsngoats is at this point almost impossible. But we'll see.
And there's the Ketchup Beam for Oats.
Also shoutouts to Oatsngoats being I don't even know how to say that, a man of sportsmanship, already posting an early GG in SRL chat for Behemoth, seeing that He's done with Mother Brain 2 way ahead of him. And now they're just casually talking on SRL. See, that's what I meant at the start. It's like at the end, this competition is going to be forgotten. But just seeing this beautiful, like seeing what this really is about, the friendship and just having fun together with this game. And I don't only mean the two, but I mean all the over 100 participants we had in this tournament. It's just a really beautiful thing to see.
Well, and that's the thing that I didn't expect when I joined this community, is the friendships I made have just been absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. So really big shoutouts to all the participants of the tournament, all the people in the Super Metroid community. You're all awesome. And thanks for being a part of this.
And also a shout out to those of you in chat and those of you watching, all the people watching today. Shout out to the organizers who put this all together. This has been such a fun tournament. Shout out to everybody else who commentated during this tournament. It's just been a great tournament. Okay, and Behemoth is done with Mother Brain 3.
And now we're just coming up on the escape. 3 in-game time minutes of pure adrenaline.
And here we go.
Oatsngoats just starting Mother Brain 3. And now Behemoth coming up on the last moonfall of the game. Pulling it off nicely. And now going to be coming up on the second tech in the climb that is named after him, the Behemoth Spark.
Yeah,
going to be opting for a diagonal spark to clip through the platforms here all the way to the top, getting it very nicely.
2 strass named after him in the same room.
And there we go. The final stretch. And there it is. Behemoth not only wins the race with an amazing time of 42:19, but also wins the Super Metroid Any Percent Tournament 2018. GG.
That was a really good run. 42:19. Oh my god.
And he even cut off 1 second off of his race PB. Good job.
Congratulations to Behemoth, your 2018 Any Percent Tournament winner.
That's a sick title. And coming in on 2nd place, we got Oatsngoats here, also huge GG, finishing up with an official SRL time of 43:09. GG, congrats on 2nd place in the tournament, Oats.
And that's nothing to hang your head over. Beating Zost in the semifinals and going toe-to-toe with Behemoth in the finals. I mean, what a great run by Oats.
Alright, and it looks like we're already ready for the post-game interview. There we go, Behemoth. Huge congrats on winning the tournament and the race. How do you feel?
Absolutely, congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, so my first question: what were you thinking when you enraged Fantoon? What was going through your mind when that happened?
God. I had a pretty good start actually, and then the fight I thought was going. I mean, I missed like 1 shot in the first round, I think it was, and then the second round I thought I had him sussed. You know, I had like 6+1 to do. I thought on the Doppler, but it didn't work out that way.
That's usually the way it happens.
What? Yeah, and then I don't know how, but I just managed to keep up with my splits for mid-late game. I was absolutely terrified, honestly, throughout the whole thing.
You mentioned the terrifying Turian on SRL.
Yeah, man, I didn't even take out the Ripper, like it missed. So I was like, well, I can't shoot him because I'm gonna get out of spin and then get caught. So I carried on jumping, and it just I was jumping in that tight spot between the Ripper and the weeds on the left. It's just, oh man.
Well, and then also going for that 1510 ammo
Yeah,
count.
I mean, I wasn't watching the stream, so I don't have no idea where Oats is. So I thought, well, do you know what? I've lost all this time. I've got to go for it now. And I might not have needed it, but I couldn't tell, so I just went for it.
Well done on Mother Brain 1, taking your time to make sure you didn't get sniped. I noticed that.
God,
Yeah. And speaking about Oats, we got Oatsngoats here. Oatsngoats, huge congrats on second place in the tournament.
Thanks.
So how do you feel about this?
I mean, I played awfully. I played terrible, but
Well, from my perspective, I thought you played pretty well, but
Yeah, I can agree on that.
well, thank you. But yeah, so I got the missiles, so I went 20 and 10, and I ended up messing up the pirates, which costed me I think 3 or 4 super missiles, which costed me a kind of a bad Ridley fight. So at that point, I know I'm kind of screwed. My health is pretty low, so I grabbed the E-Tank. So I just assume that I'll skip the next one. Yeah, just sloppy gameplay, and then in Dragon we skipped the E-Tank, but then we got grabbed by the goop, which is really random. It shot really early, so I got grabbed, and that cost me what, 30 seconds, 40 seconds. I don't even know.
Yeah, you seem to have gotten a pretty unlucky pattern there.
Yeah. Other than that, I felt like it would have gone pretty good. I probably would have got a 42-30, 42-20, but not too happy with the way I played. But it is what it is, and yeah, good job, Behemoth.
Cheers, man. It's been an honor racing you, dude.
Yeah, it's a good race.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for participating in the tournament, of course. Congrats again for making it into the finale, making for an awesome race here. You definitely had your back and forth during the race. It was a pleasure to watch that. The chat was pretty hyped, basically, throughout the entirety of the race.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Just hope it was good for the channel,
Yeah.
Good for the people watching.
Well, I think it went pretty well. I think we had about 5,000 people watching, so
I think we had 7K at some
we had
point.
7,000.
Wow.
Oh my god.
That's crazy.
That's
So
awesome.
since we have 7,000 viewers, what do you guys have to say to people who want to pick up Super Metroid as a speed game? You as the experts of this game.
I'll just say go ahead. Yeah, I mean, we've got a big Discord. There's tons of people here all willing to help, and yeah,
it's a
Bring
good
it on.
community,
Come along.
and it's a fun game, very rewarding. So if you get into it, just feel free to ask questions and hop in the community, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
All right, thanks for that. While we're at it, I'm asked to do a lot of promotion for stuff, so I'll just get right into that. Behemoth of Oatsngoats, do you have any final words you want to spread out?
Just thank you for hosting the tournament, and congratulations again, Behemoth, and yeah, thank you guys for everything. It's been a fun tournament. So
yeah. Thanks to Oats for being a good, worthy opponent. Thanks to the commentators. I'm sure you did a good job. I didn't listen, but you did a very good job. Anyway.
I hope we did a good job.
You always do a good job.
Oh,
And thanks everyone for watching as well. All 7,000 of you.
yep, thank you guys.
All right. Make sure to follow the runners. Again, you got the links in chat. Make sure to do so. All right, so a little bit of promotion that we got going on here. One thing I want to promote very heavily is we are, of course, going to have the next tournament very soon after this, probably in a few months, so keep an eye out for that. There are a few hot takes on what it could be. Maybe Randomizer, DAP is in the room. We'll see about that. Speaking about Randomizer, we got something really cool coming up next week,
different.
actually. Yeah, we are not doing a tournament for Randomizer, but we're actually hosting a Randomizer League. And how that's going to look is you are just going to sign up until the end of next week. You are going to be split into divisions for the Randomizer preset that we made. You're going to have one match per week. Everyone is going to battle each other in his or her division once. And you're just going to get points based on wins, losses, and ties. It's going to go about 3 or 4 months, kind of like a normal sports leagues. and the best runners are going to get into the playoffs. It's going to be a ton of fun. If you like any sort of randomizer, please consider getting into it. We're just going to have a ton of races, lots of fun, just playing some stuff, getting good at the game. So that's going to be absolutely awesome.
I'm super excited about that as well. Even I've entered this league, so
yeah,
there's really
no entrance barrier. No matter if you're expert or newcomer, if you're just learning the game, consider joining it. We're just having some fun, learning some tech. So join the randomizer league. You're gonna learn something about Super Metroid and just gonna have a lot of fun.
Well, as someone that is fairly new to actually speedrunning the game and still hasn't learned to actually perform the strats. I talk about them, I hope, better than I play them. The nice thing about the league is I'm going to get, about 16 matches over the 4-month period. So even though I don't have to go and just lose a couple matches and be out, I'll still get to play. So that's a great way, I think, to enter the community if you're thinking about entering in, would be to enter this randomizer league, because you're going to get the matches and you're going to get the experience.
Absolutely. So keep an eye out for that. We have a lot of people in chat. If you have any questions, just ask around. You'll definitely find someone to provide you with the information and to get signed up for that. Another thing that we have that someone asked me to promote here really quick is starting at 8 p.m. tonight. We got the first 4 races of the Final Fantasy randomizer, which is also pretty cool. That's going to be on SG2 with others on SG3 and SG5. We got the Link to the Past Rando Fall Tourney qualifiers on this channel at 9:15 p.m. EDT. And tomorrow morning we have Cuphead at 2 a.m. EDT and Celeste at 8 a.m. And that's apparently it. Thanks, Cyclone, for these messages.
I'm also going to add one more thing. We still have the weekly races. So we had a Route Rando going on earlier today, and at 11 o'clock tonight, we're going to have the Any Percent weekly race. So still going to have lots of Super Metroid to come if you aren't Super Metroided out at this moment. And we'll continue to have those weekly races, even with the league going on.
And Tracy, tell me who's going to be the awesome commentator that we're going to have for that Any Percent race.
I believe I'm going to be commentating that Any Percent race.
Well, there you go.
I don't know if I'll have a partner or not, but I guess there's. Hopefully, you guys haven't heard enough of me today, because this will be my 3rd commentary of the day. So, looking forward to that. A little bit of a more relaxed atmosphere as we get other people.
Right.
It'd be great if some of the guys that have just run today were to play in that, but I'm gonna guess that they're a little tired out and ready to relax and take a break. So
yeah, so there you go. If you enjoyed today's commentary, make sure to follow Tracy as well. Again, big shout outs to Sloders and Kip for doing the commentary for the bronze match. Of course, congrats to Z Music and Zost again for making it there. Congrats to Zost, of course, for getting 3rd place in the tournament. And yeah, as sad as it is, I think this has come to an end. This was the biggest Super Metroid tournament we ever had. We had over 100 participants. Imagine that. Such a game this old, and people are still this amazed and passionate about it, and this is just a really beautiful thing. So, again, big shout-outs to everyone who was involved in this. It was really a pleasure.
And thank you again, all of you, for watching. Thank you to chat. Again, thank you to the organizers. Thank you to Speed Gaming for hosting us throughout the last several months. Thank you to Pong for commentating with me and all the other people that commentated with me. I had so much fun doing this. Like I said, this is my 1st tournament. And again, I said this the last time I commentated. You guys always thank me for commentary, but honest to God, thank you to you all for letting me commentate. This has been just so much fun. Thank you so much.
And I guess in the name of all other organizers who unfortunately cannot be here, huge shoutouts to Farrell, who has been really the main organizer of this event, has been putting a ton of work into this, has been doing an amazing spreadsheet for us to organize this entire thing. Huge shoutouts to all the volunteers that have helped with this, not only from Speed Gaming side, but also from the Super Metroid side. Without you, we organizers would be completely powerless. Nothing would run here without you, so thanks a lot for that. And yeah, I think now it's time to actually give it over.
I'm a little sad this is ending. So hopefully we'll see you all in the weeklies and in the Rando League. And yeah, as always, good morning, good afternoon, good night, or good evening. I got that backwards, but whatever. Wherever you may be.
And see you all next mission.